This is Robert at Merritt Webb, and this is the fifth installment of QuikTest Education. And today we're going to look at the factors that make up anxiety, depression, and personal safety, and then generally just talk about results. So we're going to start with anxiety, and I've got these open. They're found in the context of these additional documents here. You can find the traits in there. So I've opened them. We're going to start with anxiety. These are the anxiety items, 15 items that are found in QuikTest. We're not going to worry about the asterisks now. We're going to discuss that in the next video. For now, let's look at this list. Lack of courage, excitable, muscle tension and cramps, mood swings, rapid pulse, annoyed or irritated, dry mouth, forgetful, shaky hands, nightmares, lack of being calm, lack of composure, fear of bodily disease, confusion, and tired easily. Now, we have to understand that anxiety is an arousal of the autonomic nervous system to basically get the person to in that hyper mode to defend themselves against some perceived threat or perceived incident that is going to harm them. So we have to understand here that all of these things are going to be related to excitableness. Lack of courage, in other words, a person's got fear, they're afraid. And I got to change this. This should be down on the next line. But excitable, again, that revved up feeling, which is going to deplete the system of things like magnesium, which is going to cause muscle tension and cramps. Mood swings, a person's too hypersensitive. Pulse is raised. Annoyed or irritated, again, they got too much going on, the brain's going too fast. Dry mouth, the system is overworking, their brain is being overrun, they're forgetting things. Shaky hands, nightmares, as their brain's attempting to dump the excitability. Not calm, not composed. Fear of everything in the world, including bodily disease. Confusion kind of goes with forgetfulness, in my mind, and tired easily. Again, just too revved up. These are the anxiety symptoms. You will be required to have a general knowledge of these, and you should have it. If you're going to use QuikTest, you have to understand what these are, and you can print the report, and it's got the lines where you can discuss these things with the client, but it's best that you know some of these. I'm going to close this. I'm going to go to depression, feelings of failure. Now, this is a slowing of the autonomic nervous system. So this person is beginning to lag. They're beginning to slow down. They're beginning to get very negative. I'm a failure. Nobody loves me. I'm not happy. Can't think quickly. Everything's slowing down. Worn out. Tend to worry. Again, they're slowing down, so they got time to sit around and worry about bad things that are going to happen. Lower blue, that of course is central. Not satisfied. Absolutely nothing's good here. Nothing's going right. I'm a failure. I'm not satisfied with anything. Life is a burden, and I don't want to talk about it. I can't cope with things anymore, lack confidence in myself, and again, fear of failure, lack of confidence in self, nobody loves me, I'm lonely, nobody understands me, I'm all alone, everybody leaves me alone, and you get the gist. They're critical about everything, don't feel like working, don't feel like doing anything. It's a chore to change the channels on the TV with a remote. So this is depression. Look these over and try to distinguish these from the other items on QuikTest as you look at QuikTest itself. Pull that test up and say, oh yeah, that's an anxiety item. Oh, that's a depression item. So see if you can do that. The last one, QuikTest has 30 items, 15 for anxiety, 15 for depression, and an additional 7 items. When I created this, these were considered the top 7 indicators of potential self-harm, including suicide. No close friends. A person has isolated themselves. They're isolated. Keep their anger a secret. I ain't going to talk to anybody about anything. Stressed out. Just stressed to the max. Can't cope with life much more. Okay? Life is running me over. This is one of the key elements here in suicide. A person has to have a shortened future. They can't see very far off in the future. All they can see is whatever problems are running them over. They can't think, okay, I can get past this and I can move on in life. No, they can't see the future. When a person loses the future, they're in serious trouble. The person takes a lot of risks, and you'll notice that this is personal safety. This is not just suicide. There's risk-taking behaviors where a person may have a car accident, hit a tree because they decide they're going to go out drinking and drugging. Well, is it suicide or not? Well, I don't know, but some people just take extreme risks that they shouldn't take. This is probably the number one indicator, and that is they've thought about suicide in the past, been hospitalized for a suicide attempt, talked about suicide, thought about suicide, ideations, or whatever it is that is pointing toward thoughts about suicide in the past, whether it's actual actions or just thinking, talking. Maybe it'd be better if I wasn't here. Y'all wouldn't have to worry about me. So those type of things are indicators of a potential for self-harm, whether it's accidental or related to extreme risk or whatever, or actual suicide. Let's talk about the test itself for just a second here. And it's entirely your call what you do with these results. I like to show these results to a client and actually discuss them with the client. And when it comes up to the boxes or the lines, say when the anxiety items come up, you've got the line in front of it. I ask them to rate their anxiety on a scale of whatever you feel is appropriate, 0 to 4, 0 to 5, 0 to 10. And that way you can find out how they feel about each one of those items. When they say, well, I'll rate that a 5 out of 10, have them explain what that item means to them. Why is it a 5 out of 10? Give you some background around that item. This is one of the ways to use this test to, number one, validate the results, and number two, to pinpoint exactly what the client is thinking. when you get these results, all 15, sorry, I'm just getting over a cold, but all 15 of these items for anxiety and for depression will be present. We don't store information about how they scored with each one of the items. That's all in your validation process. You go back and find out how they feel about each one of them. So I use this test with them, and I'll tell them their scores. If they've taken it more than once, go here. Show them their progress. Show them the points where they seem to be sticking. The more education you can give the client, the better off, in my opinion, the client is. Now, of course, that's all based on whether or not you feel it's an appropriate thing to do for a client. You've got to make that decision yourself. One last item, and this is on the test, so you're going to want to remember this, and that is the definition of psychosis. Sometimes, major depression, which we're dealing with depression here, or even extreme cases of anxiety, can lead to psychosis. What is psychosis? A psychotic episode would be the breakdown in reality testing. Person is no longer testing reality and experiencing reality as the normal population. Seeing things, hearing things, feeling things, whatever. So you have to be aware of those points as you're counseling people. 130, 135, 140 on these scales. You need to really find out if they're testing reality properly. And if not, you need to make decisions about what you need to do with them. So that's going to be it for this edition. This is number 4. We'll be on to number 5 next time, and we'll see you then.